Hey, Steve here. How you doing? I'm here on a job site, so it's a wonderful day out. It's actually not too chilly. Working on this rental again, basically just helping some friends out because it was in very, very sad shape. If you can see right over here on the corner, the outside here where it's really, the paint's coming off and all that stuff, that's the good stuff. I mean, it was inside, it was pretty tore up. I mentioned, and I will never have to bring my old bench onto a job site again. Well, today I'm on a job site and I have the old bench right in here. Let's check this out. Man, that is a beautiful sight, isn't it? Well, for me. Oh boy, that's very cool. So I had to bring some trim, and all the white stock in there is just trim that I have to install today. So there it is. The old bench weighs 100 pounds before the horses in the spreader shelf. Jinxed myself, but today I need the table saw and I need to have some area because I have to do a lot of table saw work. And simply having the table saw on its kind of scissor stand, that's great for a few cuts. And if I had to, but I've got this thing. And my sawhorse goes on those rails right there that you see. Now, where I could have avoided this had I just stopped a couple of months ago, or a couple of weeks ago, a few weeks ago, and built the cradle for the table saw to go on my new bench. Because even though it's not a smart station, that the cradle, the cradled tools, except for the miter saw, the cradled tools, you build a cradle and kind of hang them off the bench, they will work with all the benches. And so it would be a matter of, had I done that, I could have brought the new bench, 65 pounds, 35-pound difference, and I could have hung the table saw off that, and everybody would have been just wonderfully, singing Kumbaya. However, that didn't happen today. So I'm setting this up. Once I've got it set up, I'll show you what I've got going on. But wow, just should have knocked on wood. Miter saw station all set up, like I said, ready to go, except for power. And then over here is the old bench. Table saw on the rail system, modified with those pieces of plywood to support the saw. And you can see the outfeed. Down here, sacrificial strips and just a piece of fall off of that 1x12 that I use as a shelf. Over here is 3/4 of all the trim that I have to deal with today to make the parts. Today I'm just grabbing whatever scrap I could dig up and find in order to do the trimming that I am doing in here. I'm punting and I'm just going to work with what I have, and butt joints will be where butt joints are going to be. And in the end, it's a rental. All this is for free, and they're not here for very long. For them, it'll be temporary until they can go out there and find a house. So I'm assuming maybe a year, but temporary. So it'll be what it is, and it'll be 102% better than what it was. All right, well, extension cords, and then I have to start making some measurements. Now, I will say, all of that could be consolidated into one bench smart station, and I will be very happy when I have that smart station created, and it is the let's go to the job site with this thing, and then it's all just consolidated and more. Today even, like I said, had I built the cradle for the table saw, it would have been slightly different, although I still would have had the miter saw to set up. But it was a compromise. Anyway, here I am, and here I go. Hey folks, Steve here. Just a quick voiceover showing that I've moved on to trim in this bathroom I was working on. These are all the parts I have made. I have other parts to make at that point, and I do have some installation already started there. From there, moving into one of the front rooms, this is a closet that was just hacked in, and you can see the 2x4 that I'm trying to trim around, and it was a disaster. I wanted to rip the whole thing out, but budget and time did not allow. They said just work with what you've got, and so I did what I could do. On this side, you'll see that they had ranch, and I did not install any of that, and then a flat stock. It's just made no sense. Hey, Steve here. How you doing? Can't win for trying sometimes. Here with the Magic Trailer. Very cold day. Weekend number 2. So I'm at this rental property that we're trying to refurbish and get ready for a rental for a family. Really cool stuff. Last week I was here, I had my setup going, probably some video, and I was in there doing a lot of trim with what I had on hand, so it wasn't a perfect trim job, but it was very adequate, if I do say so myself. So, bap, 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 right? Last week, had my wife, because she's in there painting, had she let me know there are 2 windows in there. One window is completely devoid of trim, so one window needs all of it, and another window needs, well, let me show you. Okay, scooting through the house here to show you the windows. So here's a window that was totally devoid of any trim. Here is the other one that was missing basically part of the sill, the dog ears, and it was like that when we showed up. So I fixed it. So I just kind of put some pieces in there, put an apron in, and it caulked up and painted just fine. Here's the other window that needed all the trim, and it painted up just fine. Now, joys of contracting, I get to move on to installing kind of part of the kitchen so I can get the microwave ready to go. Temporary install, because I have a bridge cabinet on this side, which will then allow me to figure out my microwave above that particular range. Today it's all about the microwave and the receptacle that has to go in that upper bridge cabinet, but this dictates that. And this is dictated by trim on the floor that's pre-existing that I have to butt up against. So, dominoes. I love math. And a good tape measure. Nailed it. 2 screws will hold it. These are the screws I'm using. Star Drive T20. And I'll leave some of these for Brian when he goes to reinstall the cabinet later. He's going to paint it though. He's going to paint it black like all the other cabinets. And the magic stud finder. I love this thing. Haven't gone wrong yet. This is what it is. That's what it is. I'd turn it on, but it would just point to me. Microwave, minimum 12, 14, 15, 16 inches above an electric stove. Gas stoves are different. Check what you do. But I checked for an electric stove. Figuring out the microwave, I just put the back support brace on it so I can take measurements for these 2 screws, transfer that to the underside of this cabinet there, and pre-drill those to get ready for those screws. I can transition from those washers to a bigger washer to allow me maybe a slightly bigger hole, give me a little bit of wiggle room. Lay out the bracket now that I know exactly where it's going to hit, so I can lay that bracket out as well on the wall. Things are going well. One of those that wasn't branded.
Why did you put it all the way to the side and not center it?
You mean in this cabinet?
Yeah.
Because the stove is over here.
Okay.
It's centered on the stove, it's not centered on the cabinet. Otherwise you'd have this great big gap.
Oh, yeah. You're right. Makes complete sense.
Yep. And it's not tight to that cabinet because you have to let the door open.
Yes. I'll clean.
Hey, Steve here with a quick voiceover. I am aware that the microwave is not centered on the upper, and the upper is proud of the side cabinet. It was simply I had to work with what was existing, and I had to make it work with the stove, so it was just a matter of get it in. It's a rental, it's temporary, and there you go. Well, I think we're done on this pro bono, so let's just take a quick look around. All fresh paint everywhere. Some things left to do for people that are renting it, like wrapping up that window. A good buddy of mine installed all the flooring and the baseboard trim and everything, so that looks great. Closets were finished off. Master bedroom staging, of course, but windows are done in here. Got a door to put up into the bathroom. But the bathroom received the largest makeover, I believe, with ripping out the floor, putting all new tile in. Did a lot of sheetrock, like the lower 4 feet all the way around. New vanity, plumbing, new toilet, heat runs all the way through. Of course, fresh paint all the way around. Tub stayed, surround changed. So that looks good all the way there. He's in the middle of plumbing all of this. Very nice details. All the way through into here. Again, got a window to do there for the people that rent. They will finish doing that. Everything else looks good. Kitchen, probably 90% done. That cabinet has to be painted. Okay, I'll just include a little bit of voiceover at this point, wrapping up. Everything that we needed to do, we did. I don't know as we had to return for anything. There may have been one day when we came back in and did little minor things. Here's that room. There's that closet that was all hacked in. So the trim is all done. Everything's painted, multiple coats. And they just have a little bit of work to do in the kitchen and a little bit of painting around for the renters who were kind of doing sweat equity as far as working off the rent. That countertop right there was made by the renter. He's also a woodworker. He was just working full time, and I had time to come in and do my gig. So there you go, folks. Like and subscribe, ring the bell, leave a comment. Have a great day.